This episode is brought to you by Mortgage Workflow Partners and the Mastering Encompass series, both for users as well as administrators. You can find out all the information about it over at masterengencompass.com. Also, if you'd like to check out what we're doing on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel using the @MasteringEncompass handle. And make sure you stay up to date on all the information, not just with podcasts, but also video content that we bring to you as often as possible. Now let's get on to the episode. Here we go. Welcome, everyone. My name is Larry Bailey with Mortgage Workflow Partners. It's February 17th already. Holy goodness. 4 o'clock Tuesdays. That means we get together for a Mastering Encompass Ask Me Anything Encompass. I know historically it's been mostly admins, but this is also open up to users. So if you're wondering what's going on with your Encompass or how to use your Encompass better as a user or an administrator, and you just want to ask somebody what's going on with it, this is where you do it. As you're coming in, thanks everybody for spending their time with me today. The goal is for an hour. We usually blow through that pretty quick. You can ask questions by either raising your hand in the Teams piece, and I'll take the block off of you so you can unmic, or you can ask something in chat, ask something in Q&A, whatever you want to do. Usually kind of as we're waiting for folks to roll in, I usually bring something to the meeting. Today is no exception. So if you didn't know this, at some point this year, supposedly your production environment is going to be moved from either the Santa Clara data center or the Chicago data center to an AWS platform. That's the plan. When is yours happening? Seems to be a bit of a conversation with some folks. So what we've been talking with folks in the admin certification group earlier today, and with all the Mortgage Workflow Partners clients, work with your ICE mortgage technology team and ask them very clearly, when is your production environment migrating to AWS? There's supposed to be an email that goes out to you 90 to 120 days before it's planned to happen. That date seems to move. We found earlier today in the admin course that in one particular member, their date moved on them. Another one had a date of a Tuesday, which is weird. So whatever it is, get with ICE Mortgage Technology to find out when your production environment is migrating to AWS. And the reason why this is important is to connect any performance issues with that migration. Hopefully everything goes smooth. I've heard of things going smooth. I've also experienced things not going smooth. And so what's important is good communication, good planning with our partners at ICE Mortgage Technology, and great communication with your internal team members so that things could happen. It should be a nothing burger. But you got to know. So having said that, one of the things for those that are admins on here, are you aware of how to do a trace route or a ping to determine what your production Encompass is on? Do you know how to use the command prompt to discover that? If you'd like me to show you, type in the chat, show me. I'll put it up on screen, but if it's something that you don't care about, I don't want to waste your time. But if you did a trace route to your production instance, so it's BE XYZ123. Okay, everybody wants to. All right. Just for Jolene, I will show it to Jolene. How's that, Jolene? Hope you're doing well. All right, let me share screen. Release notes, by the way, while this is on screen, release notes for desktop are out. I'm going to be doing a walkthrough like I did for web last week, a walkthrough for desktop soon. But they're out here. Check them out. Some really good stuff. Lots of questions I have, even off the first couple of paragraphs. All right, so if you go into your Windows environment and you hit the Windows button, up will come up all your settings. Type in CMD, hit enter. And that will launch this command prompt. And so you can see way back up at the top, you're going to type in TRACE, RT, trace route, Bravo Echo, and you can do your TEBs also, but if you're in UAT, it's not going to matter much. But your production environment .ea.lema.net. And so, yeah, Rebecca, I see your point. And Candace, yes, assuming your IT allows you to get to the command prompt, because you could launch PowerShell operations here. Totally different topic. This is what I know. I know this environment goes to Chicago. How do I know that? Because it says CH. This one also goes to Chicago. This is how you do a ping. So the reason why you do a ping versus a trace route is you just want to see a heartbeat. So admins, if you're having problems with connectivity issues, you would, as the user who's reporting connectivity issues from their machine and their location, you would have them go to ping and again, your Bravo Echo number, whatever that is. This one right here, when I go through this one, notice there's no server. This is an AWS instance. So I know it might be really hard to see, but when I do it with a traditional, you get the CH Banker, that's the actual blade in Chicago. This is an AWS. And so why is this important? It's important for you to know where your Encompass is being housed in case you have any issues. It's also important because there are different requirements. And so this is the email that hopefully you can find. In this particular environment, this went to the marketing team. I don't know why. It just did. I had to actually hunt for this thing. It says, what does this mean for you? No action required. That's not entirely true. You can see the second bullet says, we strongly recommend using domain-based allow listing rather than IP addresses whenever possible. And there's a whole firewall guide. So key recommendations, do not remove existing ICE domains or IP addresses from your allow list until further notice, whenever that's going to come. These remain required until officially deprecated. So eventually these will be deprecated, but you do want to use domain-based allow, blah, blah, blah. And there's a firewall guide. More firewall. So it's all the same link. Get your IT teams involved. It is important to talk about, to plan for, to know when you have to plan for it. And there you go. So hopefully that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions, by the way, on the how to use a trace route or a ping? Is everybody good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm looking at chat, so I don't see anybody saying they want to talk through anything, so that's fine. Rebecca, to your question, your schedule for migration to the new UAT, which is the TEBE. I've heard, and not sure this is even still an issue, but are there any known issues with the EPCs after this migration? Yes, there are. You have to plan for that, Rebecca. So if you're migrating to UAT, you need to make sure that your integrations through EPC are designed for UAT. Now, I don't know which partners or at which status and how this impacts them, but there are some partner integrations through EPC that are uniquely designed for UAT and not, and if they're only designed for R2T, which is what precedes UAT, they will not work, and you have to add them back. So Rebecca, definitely check with your vendors on what they say. Luba adds, very good point, Luba, that if they, if Encompass changes your instance ID on it, then anybody who's offering any technology, if it's CID specific, they have to change that. So that's also something else that's pretty common. So that's great points, Rebecca. Hopefully that helps you. And yes, Luba, thank you very much. And then lastly, again, and a lot of the stuff Luba's talking about should be provided to you in your migration instructions from ICE. Please read them. It's a Word document. It's like, Luba, keeping honest here, it's like 4 or 5 pages or something. Like it's a lot. It's not a quick read. And there are steps you need to follow. So follow them. And yeah, and it is easy to miss things because it looks really simple, but it's really, really detailed. Okay, so this is an Ask Me Anything. Who's got questions? We're about 10 minutes in. Everybody who's going to show up is probably here. So does anybody want to come on, take themselves off mute, ask questions, ask me to explain anything, whatever. This is your time, gang. So what would you like to talk about? Everybody's always quiet in this. Everybody excited for ice? Is anybody not going who's totally experiencing FOMO right now? Because you wish you were going to Las Vegas in March because you heard it was really fun. It's really exhausting. Counting down the days. So Patty and I are going to the Mortgage Collaborative Desert Disruption on Saturday this week. And then we have the ICE conference. I will say this, not that it's an ICE plug here, but if the registration session you're looking for says full, in case you missed the email, ICE says show up anyway. They're going to pack you in the room unless the fire marshal kicks you out. So definitely take advantage of that. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. But it should be really good. Honestly, there's a lot of great information. If you're not going, stay in touch with the Mastering Encompass community. We're going to be spinning up a channel for ICE X26 soon, just like we did last year for ICE X25. But definitely, if you can't be there, it's definitely not the same, right? Jolene said they removed the lab ones from the list so to know where to go to even show up. You talking about on Monday, Jolene? Those lab ones, the special ones, the special list kind of a thing? I don't know if that's what you mean or something different. I will say this, get the app, download the app. I imagine there's going to be a lot of shared information. The Monday and Tuesday ones. The Monday ones I know are a special link. The app is not out already. I don't have any special insights on the app. I just know that it's usually very well done. I expect that to be launched probably sometime the beginning of March. I mean, it could be like the second week of March. Cool. I'm going to ask, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to ask you some questions. So be open and honest with me, please. When you go through and are trying to run with this major update that's happening here very soon, how are you documenting, if at all? I should probably ask, are you really documenting the changes that are impacting the team, or are you just kind of letting it go and hopefully see what happens, that everybody's okay? And what I'm talking about specifically are like, I'll go back to sharing screen here with desktop. If I can hit the right button. Is it not working for me? Did that work? Okay. You guys seeing the screen okay? Hopefully. It says you are, so I have to presume you are. But everybody's been real excited, which is odd to me, about concurrent editing. This used to be called multi-user editing. And I started using multi-user editing back in 2013. And everybody said I was nuts. American Financial Resources was the company, and it worked flawlessly because we had workflows defined. Is anybody very concerned at all, or I should say very concerned or concerned at all about the Encompass file being able to be updated by APIs while your team is in the file? Does anybody have any concerns about that? You guys think it's okay? It's fine? If it works well, that's fine. Candace, how do you know what fields they're editing? And how are you going to make sure that your teams are not overwriting what the APIs put in? That would be my biggest question for everybody here. Danielle, that sounds great in theory. Yes, I'd like to know how the users know it's happening. And so as you go through the release notes, what you're going to again, the part of this call is for questions. So if you guys have any questions, just shoot it out. And Kevin, you're not wrong then the reality of APIs releasing the user's exclusive lock. 100% not wrong. Dead on straight. And good for you for saying it. I'm asking a different question. So as you build out your workflows and as everybody wants true automation in their files, How are you making sure that the data that's coming in, number one, you're aware of it. Number two, that your users are not overwriting it because the user knows better. And so this is what I want you to think about. This is my question for you. As you get into 2026, what's your data workflow? When we go through, like when I go through big stage planning with integrations and updates for our clients at Mortgage Workflow Partners, we go through and we document what's happening and who's responsible for that data, and then we isolate that from other teams who have no business updating that data point. So a good example would be the appraisal comes in from let's say you're using a provider and they have an API and it pops into your loan, the appraisal's back, and it pops in the loan and it drops in the appraisal and drops in the appraised value. Should anybody else be able to edit that? Probably not. Do you have your business rules, persona-based business rules configured that way? Probably not. And this is what I'm stressing for everybody when you ask for automation. I think it's smart, but just please be mindful of that you're aware of which automation is updating which data field and then who else can edit that. Now, does anybody on the call use a verifications platform that goes out and gets VOE, VOI, VOA, things like that? Johnny says we keep documentation and business rules set up to keep users from updating this at the same time. Great. So Kevin, Danielle, Heather, and I'm going to put this back to you too, Johnny, as far as business rules. I'm not saying, yeah, and Jolene uses waterfall CoreLogic for the VOE. That's phenomenal. Do each one of you, and feel free to comment if you do or don't, but do each one of you have the ability, do you have business rules in place where no one has the ability to change those values once that information is received from the third party? I know I just kind of said the same thing as the appraisal, but this is what I'm talking about. What we're finding in our reviews and when we go in to do some work for clients is we're finding that companies are wasting money on verifications because the user is overwriting the data. Jolene, quick question for you. When you get the waterfall product for the VOE, at what point are you asking for pay stubs or other employment verification? After the query fails, or are you asking for employment documentation from the borrower before you request that? That's the question that you should be asking. And so Kevin says, no, the third-party calculation is not always right. We lock the income down once the UW has approved the loan through. So Kevin, this would be, and again, this is not about me and Kevin, right? This is about a conversation about workflow. And I'll pick on some people here, companies like LoanBeam, right? I use LoanBeam, totally fine, totally, it's totally adequate piece of software. But the information that I get out of it's just a recommendation. And so what underwriters typically do when you have LoanBeam is they re-underwrite the damn taxes. Like, what's the point? DDA is another example. We have a lot of clients on DDA right now. I'd say 10% of our population, maybe 15. Some are using the analyzers, some aren't. But my point is that if you're going to get the analysis from the provider, whether it's any one of these folks that you guys are using now, or DDA, or Oculus, or Truth, I don't care. But if you're getting the information and you're not using that information to act in the approval for the file, then why are you getting it? That's the point. Like, why are we getting this? Why are we paying for this service that we're not using? So what I usually recommend to folks is if you're going to be going down this workflow of getting this service-based result and you're not locking those fields down because you don't agree with it, my question is, does the data that was put in, is that rep and warrantable? Is that rep and warrantable from the company giving you the data? Is it rep and warrantable from Fannie or Freddie if you're selling to the GSEs or you're making a GSE eligible file? Or are you leaning on reps and warrants from someone like ICE? Because what we found is that in workflow review, because we've done 2020, last 12 months, we've done 35, maybe 40 different full company workflow reviews. And what we're finding is companies are paying for these services and the ops teams are not even using them. They're overwriting the information or they're not using it at all. And it is not even like they gave it a shot. Even if they had AUS approval with the data that came in, the underwriter is like, no, that's wrong. The income or the assets is really this. Here's my point to you, gang. As you go through, for those that are going to ICE X26 or or the TMC event or the Housing Wire, or even if you go to the MISMO later on this year, find me. I'll show you what I'm talking about in real life. I'll show you what's going on with workflows. And if you want to catch up with yourself before then, go into your own files, pull the VOE or VOI or VOA numbers from the certs that you have, and look at the numbers on the closed files. And when they don't match, that's a red flag. Right? It's a red flag because it means that either the service was inadequate or you paid for something you didn't need. So if you're waiting until the loan's approved to lock down these numbers, because that's an old workflow. That's a traditional paper workflow. What's the point of getting the data up front? So I think what we're going to see, and by the way, just as a side note, the largest organizations in the country that run efficiently, and everybody's like, oh my God, they have so much market share. How do they do it? Oh, they have the best technology. It's just workflow. So if they go out and they source the data from the source, they lock that data down on the file so nobody can change it. And that's number one. Number two, nobody's even given the work to review it to change it. So again, I'll use DDA as an example. If DDA processes the pay or asset statements and it calculates the values for that, those values go into the file. And if the loan's approved, it's done. Underwriter never sees those documents. The condition on that file is cleared autonomously through enhanced conditions. That's a real thing right now. So anyway, for those that just came on, this is an AMA. This is not a Larry lecture thing. So does anybody have any questions? I got about 35 people on here. Could be user related, could be web related, could be settings related. I don't care. I'm here to answer questions for you. Has anybody got anything? And if you want to raise your hand, if you want to explain it off mic, on mic rather, I'll take the lock off. Feel free. I only lock down the mic in the video because we've had some situations in the past where it was counterproductive to the meeting. Okay. Lisa, you got a question? Cool. And I swear I'm clicking it. It says allow mic. Why is it not working? Oh my gosh. I'm going to stop screen share for a second because maybe that's what's causing me some problems. Hang on with me, Lisa. Is it the there? Oh my God, that was extraordinarily painful. Lisa, you should be able to unmic or unmute.
Okay, yep. So I have a question in regards to what you were still talking earlier with the trace routing and that kind of stuff. I waited to see if anyone else had questions. So, like I said in our meeting we had earlier, I have some users who are saying they're continually getting dropped. And today I've had about 5 different users saying that they're having issues, some at home, some in the office, whatever the case may be. So we were on this. I had one of the girls, I went into their computer and looked at theirs. Can I show you what mine looks like compared to theirs? And
Yeah.
can you tell me if you see anything?
Yeah. Oh, you're okay with it. I'm okay with it.
It's not gonna, it doesn't, my sharing is grayed out.
Oh, that's me. Hang on. Allow. I have to make you a. Oh Lord, why does Teams do this to me? I have to make you a presenter. Hang out with me, Lisa. Bear with me. Make you a presenter. So you should be able to hit share now.
Yeah.
In Luba, Google is not easier. Google sucks. Just saying.
Okay. So I have
It's the
one that
user. I'm the problem. It's me. Maybe Zoom. Maybe
okay,
Zoom.
so here's mine. I don't know how it's easier to see it, but here's mine.
Yeah, you got it.
Whatever. So I have hers. This is the user that's having issues. Hers has like 12 steps. Mine only has 8, but hers takes a lot more time and has some other things in it
Where
than
is this
what
person in the world?
Brainerd, Minnesota.
Okay, what type of internet connection does that computer connect to the internet through? Wireless?
I don't even know. She's in the office, but I don't know if I'm assuming I don't know if it's in wireless or if they connect in. I don't know.
Well, okay, so this is a commercial location?
Yeah.
Okay, so that little part, that number 2 part, the reason why that's different is because you're inside the building and that's a switch in a hub. There's a lot of stuff that's going on between the 10.3.5.50.1 is her actual local machine IP.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter until you get to hop 4, and that's where it actually leaves your building. And then
Okay.
you've got some heavy, like you get into some heavy stuff where you go right down to level 3. Level 3 is a backbone of the internet, one of the backbones, and which is hop 7. So the
Mm-hmm.
reason why yours look in yours, are you also in the same building?
No, I'm at home.
Right.
So
And
here's
so that's the
mine.
reason why yours looks completely different, is because you go right from your local computer IP is the 10 dot number, and then
Mm-hmm.
your house IP is the 38.140 number. And
Okay.
then
You know I'm
Atlas
on
must be
VPN.
your internet service provider or something like that.
I'm on VPN, so I don't.
Okay.
It's
Oh, VPN to where? Who's hosting the VPN? Your business?
yeah.
So what's crazy is you're not actually pinging from your computer. You're actually pinging
No.
from your VPN.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why yours looks completely different, is because you're actually that WB.loc, that's your virtual machine.
Mm-hmm.
And your 38.140 is the spot that goes out of the building where the virtual machine is housed. That's why it looks totally different.
Yeah. But like mine is so like a lot faster than hers. But like I said, I don't know. I
Well,
don't know
yeah,
how to
you're on a virtual
compare.
machine in a warehouse somewhere in the cloud. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why it's
Okay.
much quicker.
Because like I said, she's having issues of timing, like getting kicked out.
Don't use that. See the request timeout. That's not a timeout. That just means that the stupid program, the trace route program, didn't receive a response back to know where it was. That doesn't mean that there's a problem. Um, that little ping test below, is that them also?
Yes.
What does that
And
look like?
that appears to be fine.
Yeah, so no loss. So
No loss.
so so um what I would typically say in this particular case is you've got no loss in a ping, you've got a trace route that hits responsibly. What I'm doing next, pardon me, is to see are there any other folks who are reporting the same issue from their general location in the building?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna tell the IT team that I suspect it could be a hub problem or a switch problem that they're all connected to.
But it's not. There's 2 users in that building. There's one in another building. There's one that works remotely that's
Oh, well,
having
then
the
they're not in the same
issue.
location.
2 of them are.
Well, building, are they next to each other or are they like on different floors?
No. 2 of them are literally like right across like in the same building, right across the office from each other. Those 2 are having issues, but I'm
I
having
would I would
other
focus on those
users.
if I were working with you, I
Yeah.
would have the IT team check the hardware of those. Where do those 2 plug into in the building? There could be a hardware problem
Okay.
with them.
Okay. Because
That's the benefit of a commercial space is you've got hardware in the middle, which just amplifies the potential problems. And I'm being sarcastic when I say a beautiful thing. It's tough.
okay. Like I said, everyone like I've only like all of a sudden 5 people have complained to me today of it dropping a lot on them.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
I said,
Candace knows the deal. Look at the switches and the hubs. It's so bad. Like this stuff. You're a tech geek when you know this stuff.
yeah, I know
Um,
nothing about this. So that's why I was wondering if you saw anything. So, okay.
no, everything looks normal, but again, it's not the server because you're probably working in it all day fine, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm totally fine.
Right. And so it's fairly unusual for a commercial location to have jitter. Usually the handshake's pretty tight. Almost always it's either the network interface card, the NIC card, if they plug into a RJ45 cable, or it's if they're doing wireless, I would check the wireless hub and or the hub or the switch that routes. Um, and so this is like what would be a really interesting test for like Lisa's situation that I usually go through is ask them to see if they can relocate. Are they on laptops or desktops, Lisa? Do you know?
Laptop.
Laptops. So if they're a laptop, I'm going to ask if they're wireless. And then if they say yes, I'm going to say for like tomorrow or something, can you go work from a different location for even part of the day that you think you drop a lot on? That would be if that's not practical, I would see if there's somehow for them to get a hardwire at their desk and see if that resolves the issue.
Okay. Thank you.
I had no idea I was going to be talking about hubs and switches today. It's not on my bingo card. Hey, you got it. I don't know. Kelly wants you to also ask your IT team to make sure that they're on VPN, Kelly. I got to believe that that's already taken care of. But it's possible. Um, cool. Great question, Lisa. Thank you. Anybody have anything else? Kelly does? Okay. Kelly, I figured out what I can do. I can just right mouse click now on your name. Supposedly that worked. Did that work?
Yeah, if I can find the button.
There you go.
So question, I put in the chat box. So we have a wholesale division, and one of the challenges we're having for MLS HMDA reports is brokers are uploading files, 3.4 to a file. They have quote unquote a TRID application, but never submitted the loan to us.
Sure.
So has anyone been successful at redefining the HMDA application date for wholesale from when they actually hit submit? Because that's when we start working on it.
Well, that's your problem right there. You have a seventh criteria you can use.
Okay.
So check again, not to be confused with compliance advice. I'm not a compliance person. I don't play one. Check your own legal stuff. But most non-retail channels have an accepted date. And that's actually what the seventh item is in their TRID calculation dates for initial disclosures to borrowers, as well as
Okay.
HMDA.
And we can have a different rule for the retail channel and my wholesale channel.
100%.
Okay. So the accepted.
Most companies do, Kelly. Again, check with your own legal and compliance teams for validation, of course. Don't take my word for it.
I play it on TV, so I'll make that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the accepted date because you get into these situations where, like you said, the problem with these sites, right? Your TPO site is they upload a fully baked, practically almost closed 3.4 file. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have to disclose this borrower. No, not until you accept it.
Okay.
And even it even gets to be where and again, UWM was the king of this. Liv, I see your question. They started doing broker self-disclosures back in 2014. And again, until even if the borrower received disclosures from you, from your portal on behalf of the broker, there are many organizations that say that they do not have to issue any type of initial statement of denial or any other type of credit representation until they accept the file, because they never had the credit reissued into their name, nor did they make any automated underwriting decision in their name. For companies that even allow for AUS on TPO Connect, things like that, again, until they accept the file, they do not report HMDA. They do not report call reports on that. So check with your check with your counsel, check with your compliance people, et cetera, et cetera. But that's how these other outfits do it.
Yeah, because we're going to trigger it based off of the TPO information. I think it's TPO X90 is the field that is hard coded when they hit the initial submit. Nobody can
Yep.
change that date.
Yep.
That is the date, and we want to trigger that. Okay, I'll
No, just use accepted. So I just went through. We're
Okay.
launching into Encompass. They're coming into Encompass, and it's a TPO workflow. And I delivered the milestones to them today, and one of the first ones is accepted. And the reason why I can do that, I don't normally like to use milestones in that way, but this is one of the first times I actually got ahead of the curve, and I'm putting that there because I want the internal teams and the external clients to have a clear sense of, was this file accepted? And that's the date. Once the TPO client accepts the file, that's when their clock starts.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you,
Luba,
sir.
do you set this up in settings somewhere? Yes, it's in the send initial disclosures alert. So you can't remove what ICE has put there into Encompass, but you can always add to that send initial disclosures alert. That's the way you manage that. So whether it's a date field or custom field or whatever, that's the way you manage that.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Luba.
How do you isolate that to wholesale only? What I would do is create a custom field and make sure that when, like in my case, it's the same thing. In my case, they've got a milestone. We're going to have a custom field that actually is the seventh field or seventh item for the send initial disclosure. And for retail, the custom field's always going to be X or whatever I choose. And then for non-retail, it's not going to be X until that milestone's finished. So usually I don't have that choice. Usually I have to use date fields, which is really hard unless you're doing like a configurable workflow for TPO Connect. But if you use that as a milestone, piece of cake, because now everybody can see, like TPOs get trained, like, hey, was it accepted yet? You're like, oh yeah, the milestone was finished. It's easy. Great stuff. Thanks for the question, Kelly. I'm sorry I missed that. It got buried by Candace's comments. Blame her.
No worries.
Okay, fine. Anybody have anything else? Today's a late day. First day back off vacation. Lisa's got more questions. Cool. I'm Mike. There you go, Lisa. Go for it.
So we just started using one-time passcode like 2 weeks ago, and
Okay.
I keep getting users saying when they click the link that it says that it's not available. Is there something wrong? But like if I try to go to it and click on it, I can get there just fine using my laptop. I know the one was using their phone, but that shouldn't matter. They should still be able to click the link. And I never had these issues until we switched to the one-time passcode.
What link?
Like when you send out the notifications template link and they can click on for their disclosures to
For
sign.
disclosures. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just want to be sure.
Yeah.
And so for the team, these are the borrowers that are getting a page not found. Or
The one will
page
say like the ones that expired.
Yeah, page expired. So
Yeah.
if they got the page expired, they're usually clicking on lovely part, but what's happening is cross-site tracking is disabled, and so they're probably on an iPhone using Safari. The one-time passcode doesn't necessarily avoid that cross-site tracking problem. It simply prevents them from having to use authorization codes. If you want to avoid the cross-site tracking problem, then you should be investigating using the native iOS app and driving the borrower to the native iOS app for e-signing and document review and document upload. That's what I would do. Then there's no more cross-site tracking problems.
When you say iOS app, was that the My Home Loan thing or?
The My Home Loans, yep, that's right.
Okay, so it's a Safari issue with iPhones, basically.
It's always been that way. Yeah, because Apple wants to protect borrowers' privacy, so they natively disable cross-site tracking.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, so.
I'll put the video. So I actually shot a Loom video for this. Hang on, I'll put the video in the link. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's really bad for TPO customers too. Like, folks that are on here for TPO, if you use, I mean, everybody uses Consumer Connect for TPO. That's what's funny to me. But yeah, I actually had to put this video of how to manage this for a client um, because their borrowers are just getting stuck. I think it's this one. Sorry, guys, I'm off screen just because there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Here's so in the chat, wait, my chat's over here. In the chat is the Loom for how to manage cross website tracking on a phone. And so if you play that here, I'll play it for the benefit of the recording, so everybody doesn't have to click on the damn thing. Share. Oh, it's going to go in a second. So I'm going to kill the video, but in here I walk you through on an iPhone how to go through into Safari, and then where it says, wait, I went past it. Right here, prevent cross-site tracking. So that's natively, it's toggled off. It's gray. So putting it on, but now you're asking your borrower to modify their phone, which is just weird. But that's literally where it is in there almost always.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. It happens on desktop too, but it's more rare, rarer because people aren't generally logging in from their Mac on Safari. They're usually using Chrome, and Chrome takes the opposite approach. Chrome says, no, cross-site tracking is fine. I mean, that's how they make their billions. But if they get page expired and they're like, no, I use Chrome, then they need to go in and make sure that it's enabled for that. Oh, thanks, Johnny. So Johnny's got a good point. Updates can turn the settings back on as well. Yeah, thanks. I actually didn't think about that at all. So Chrome, it's here. It's allow cross-website tracking. So this is an iPhone screenshot. Good stuff. But the native iOS app, the native Google app for the My Home Loans, some folks have asked me, how do I get that into the borrower's hands? Like, why is it why do I think it's such a good option? Because with workflow rules, as soon as the loan's created, I'm sending out a welcome letter. And in the welcome letter, it's PDF with the borrower's initials on it, so I can make sure we've got e-consent. So the workflow rule kind of puts it right back to that. And the follow-up to that is if we're using the My Home Loans app, if they open up that link on on a mobile phone, it will take them to the Play Store to download the app with your code filled in already. Which is kind of cool. But what I usually tell people is like, hey, if you download this, if it looks empty or is missing the code, please enter this 10-digit secure code to access your application. So, it's not entirely perfect, but it does allow you to get them to download it, and then you don't have to worry about website behavior like this. Or like I showed you a moment ago. Angie asked if can you show us how to be in test and production at the same time with that? You mean desktop? Angie, is that you mean for desktop or? Right now, no, I can't. What I can tell you is that that within Mastering Encompass community, yeah, when test and production are different. Hang on, let me look up the link. I actually shot a it used to be you created folder differences. Hang on, I'll bring it up on screen. I just can't do it with my local machine right now. But I can tell you where to find the instructions in the community. Hang on. Because I did do a post on this. No, you don't do that anymore, Candace. You don't do that anymore. So you need to run here's the knowledge article, and you need to download this shortcut. What Candace put in the notes is what we always used to do. This is the actual correct way to do it. And so I'm going to put this in the chat. This hasn't changed. This is I posted this back in 24. So make sure you follow these instructions on how to do this. It's just different. If you're as a user, if you don't have the sufficient access to install this, check with your IT team. But this is the way you want to run it. Thanks for asking that, Angie. Good questions. If it's other, and if Candace, if what Candace is Candace, if it works for you, keep doing it. I'm just for everybody else. You know, this is the documented way to make sure it works properly for you. So hopefully that's cool. Any other questions? Kevin, I saw you first, according to. You should be able to unmute, Kevin.
Hey, hopefully this is a softball question here, but
Okay.
I think I'm in a little tug of war with the SSO that we've got set up. So I'm trying to log into the web version as like a test loan officer account just to see what they see.
Yeah.
But every time I go there, right, you know, I've got the client ID typed in, hit next, and it just logs me in as the admin, right? Is there a way to prevent it from doing that? Like I kind of want it to tell me like, or ask me, which user do you want to log in? Like I'm looking for a username and password to enter instead of just the SSO.
Oh, no, the SSO is mapped. You can't change it. I know. I'm sorry. You said SSO in the beginning and I totally went through my head. So no, your SSO configuration is mapped to the user ID in your exchange. So did you change that?
Yeah, I think our IT department actually did.
Well, if they did that, there's no way to not get to what's being used because it's passing that user ID.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, I'll have to go to them and try to get that.
I would
try to get them to turn it off.
Yeah, what I would probably do if it were me, I'd probably say, hey, do you mind hopping on a quick screen share and show me the user ID that you're using for this SSO login? There's another way. You want me to show you?
Sure.
Okay. So there's a little trick that one of I have to bring it over on screen. Hang on, I'll get you the scheme. But basically, it's a way to do a non-SSO login with an SSO environment.
Yeah, I've tried like incognito tabs and
No,
all
no,
that.
not like that. No,
None of that seems to work.
And it's not gonna work. Yeah. It's not gonna work. Hey, let me show you what to do. Where are you? Here. Hang on with me. Can I not copy? Oh, duh. And then where's my chat? All right, so I can't do it like that. Hang on. I've got to kill the URL. Hang on with me 1 second, okay?
Mhm.
Let me get rid of the. I think this is all I needed to do. All right, let me copy this. So take that link that I put in the chat and put that in your VB editor. You'll see in the link where I put a bunch of X's in the client ID. Replace that with your Bravo Echo number or your TEB number, whatever you want to do. That will allow you to get to your login, avoiding the SSO because you've got SSO false on there.
Interesting. Okay.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, it works like a charm. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Thanks. Oh, wait, we had one. Kelly, did you have your hand up too? I thought I saw your hand up a second ago.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
multitasking over here. I apologize.
What? It's so unusual for you. Get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Totally great. I was glad I was able to help with that one on the SSO piece. Yeah. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, single sign-on gets configured in your exchange with the user ID that it's being mapped to. So the pain in the ass is for testing. And so what you heard was get your IT team to update the user ID every time you want to test. And it's like who wants to do that? Nobody. So the link I put in the chat was a way to circumvent the SSO. I don't know how long it'll work. I don't know if ICE will ever kill it, but it was just shared. It was shared to me from a really smart dude at a client who enabled SSO because we went live with Encompass Web in January, and he needed us as MWP to be able to still log into the system in production for support. And there you go. Not something I created, but happy to share. All right, last round. One more time around the table. Any questions? We got 2 minutes left. All right. Looks like nobody's got anything. You guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully today was worth it. We'll see you in 2 weeks, same time, same place. Enjoy. See you for now. Bye, everybody.